Guys, there are spoilers for this film, this review. So if you don't want to end up a victim, go out, watch the film, and come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD, and this week we watched Honey, Don't, the newest Coen brother movie, because only one of them, it was by him. I guess the other one just doesn't want to make movies anymore. Starring Margaret Qualley, Charlie Day, Chris Evans, Audrey Plaza. Those are all the names I can remember off the top of my head. This movie was like a detective movie, like neo-noir movie, and it was great until the point. And I have a complicated relationship with this movie. I really liked it, but there was also like something about it just soured my feelings about it a little. But I won't go too much into too much detail here, but I'll tell you why I have a complicated relationship with this film and more back at the house.
Honey, right? Love those click-clacking heels.
Honey O'Donoghue, to what do we owe the honor?
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy.
Only when we submit to the will of God do we serve him. Hector, not in the sacristy. You're fascinating.
And you haven't even seen the riddle tattooed on my ass.
Love is kind of crazy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Runtime HD, and this week we watched Honey, Don't, directed and co-written by a Coen brother, Ethan Coen. It is starring Margaret Qualley, Audrey Plaza, Chris Evans, and Charlie Day. This film is a neo-noir, like, detective mystery film, and I will say, I really liked this movie when it started out. I really liked the dynamic between the characters. I think they were very well characterized. I thought the movie was very charming. I really liked the sense of humor. It was all great. And then the ending just completely soured it on me. And I'll get into that later. I'm not going to jump straight into the ending at the beginning of the review. So I'll get into what I liked about it. I think Margaret Qualley was very good. I think Margaret Qualley was really good in this movie. I think she's a great actress. I really liked her kind of like, you know, sarcasm. She was really good at like snappy comebacks at people that were trying to like, you know, I guess make insults to her. She was good at dishing it back out, I guess. She was a very entertaining character. I think one thing that was really strong about this movie was the characterization of a lot of the different characters in this movie. They had very defined characters. They were almost exaggerated, right? I think Chris Evans was a very, like, I think he needs to be a villain more, because he was, like, so entertainingly, like, over-the-top, douchey, evil idiot, right? And, I don't know, I just think it's just fun to see him be a bad guy. And also Charlie Day, who was, you know, Audrey Plaza's, like, I think he was, like, her connection in the police department, and he was, like, helping give her info on the case, and they had a nice little banter. They had good chemistry. I really liked that little dynamic they had. I think one thing I think was the best part of this movie were the characters, right? Obviously, the mystery was there, and it was decent, but I think, like, the thing that really had me hooked was how charming all the characters were in their own ways. I mean, obviously, Chris Evans is a creepy douche, but he was a fun creepy douche, I guess is a good way to say it. But I just think they all had their own style to them. They all had, I guess, you could tell a character, like, they were not generic in the slightest, is basically what I'm trying to say. They were very fun. But then, like, the movie goes on, right, and I was really enjoying it, right? Before the movie ended, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be like an 8 out of 10. This is probably gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year. And then it just ended out of nowhere. Like, when the movie's credits hit, I'm like, it's over? Like, what? It just ended. Like, here's the thing. The movie had the climax, like, it had the big reveal of the mystery, then it just fucking ended. And I think one thing I didn't like about it was that it kind of didn't stick to the mystery that it developed. So, Margaret Qualley's character, she had, like, a bunch of nieces and nephews, right, from her sister. And Like, I thought that they were just going to be, like, you know, some fun side characters that would appear here and there. I didn't think that they were going to be that important to the main mystery at hand. But one of them eventually gets kidnapped by someone we don't know. And then the movie kind of just stops focusing on the mystery for a little while, and then focuses on Margaret Qualley trying to find her niece. And then it's like, then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm still with you. You know, maybe but I was like a little confused, right? Because for the whole time I was led to believe that like Chris Evans was going to be the mastermind. It was obvious that he was going to be like the main bad guy, but he wasn't. I mean, he was a bad guy. He was like a drug runner, criminal, you know, womanizer. He was a bad guy. But then they just kind of, I mean, I think his death is fitting because he was a complete dumbass to the very end. I do think that it was fitting, but I do feel like it was kind of anticlimactic. You know what I mean? I feel like with him, them building him up as like the big bad the whole movie, and then he just kind of unceremoniously gets killed. Again, it was fitting, but I feel like it maybe shouldn't have happened when it did. I feel like he was, I don't know, I was just confused. And then it was revealed, now, let me establish this. Audrey Plaza was not in the movie that much. She was like, I guess, the love interest of Margaret Qualley, I suppose. Like, she was really into Audrey Plaza, and they had sex a couple times, and Audrey Plaza was a pretty fun character too. She had nice little personality. She was kind of dry, you know, she was a fun character. And then out of fucking nowhere at the end of the movie, it's revealed that she's like a crazy murderer that killed 2 sex hookers. And murdered her father when she was a teenager, and then she kidnapped Margaret Qualley's niece. I don't know why, in all honesty. When that twist happened, it took like a couple minutes for me to register what was even going on. Because I'm like, wait, what? Audrey Plaza's the bad guy now? Like, what? Like, I was so confused that I almost didn't even know what was going on. Right? Like, I was just zoning out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they're fighting now? Like, what the fuck is happening? But I think the problem is there was no build-up to it. At least, not that I could notice. Like, there wasn't any hints or clues that you could pick up on. Like, I mean, maybe there is in a rewatch, but not that I could fucking see. And when it happened, it was a shock, but in a bad way. I'm like, what the fuck? She just seemed like a fun side character, and that was like helping Margaret Qualley get connections and get leads and stuff. But no, she was actually a crazy serial killer. And it's like, well, why? I didn't really so I guess her motivation for kidnapping Margaret Qualley's niece was to like, what was her motivation again? I don't remember what her motivations were. Like, I feel like Chris Evans being the main bad guy was right there. And they didn't do that, and instead they had Audrey Plaza out of nowhere become a twist villain. Right? They did it fucking Disney style with no hints at all, just to fucking surprise the audience. They're like, oh, here's a random side character, that's the bad guy now. And it's like, why? I don't understand. I just don't understand. And when the movie's credits rolled, I'm like, and it really soured on me. I went from saying, oh, I love this movie, to I don't know how to feel about this movie, because yeah, I think the movie is really charming, but it didn't really matter in the end because the ending wasn't satisfying, and I wanted more, but in a bad way. If you want more in a good way, that's say like a Spider-Verse. You want more in a good way because it's such a good movie. This is a bad way because they didn't explore it. They had a bunch of good ideas, but they didn't explore them beyond surface level, right? I just really think it didn't even really feel like a mystery. You know, I mean, yeah, the mystery was there, but I just feel like it could have been better. You know what I mean? I just really feel like this, I don't know. I really, really am trying to rationalize it in my head, but I just really think that the ending just kind of ruined it for me. You know, that it was such an unsatisfying and abrupt ending. And the worst part is, almost immediately after Audrey Plaza was revealed as the main bad guy, it ended like maybe 5-10 minutes later. And it barely gave you any time to even register the twist, right? Because it just ended like right after that. And I just came out of it being super underwhelmed and super disappointed. You know, I was really let down. And then it's like, so get this. So the whole movie, they were like, oh, all these stories are interconnected because there was this guy named Hector who got into a bad way with this guy that Chris Evans was dealing with, and he was there to pick up money, and then the guy was being weird with Hector, so Hector killed him, and then that had complications with Chris Evans, and obviously Chris Evans did kill the girl at the beginning, and there was a guy in Margaret Qualley's office who was crying about his boyfriend cheating on him. And then it was revealed that the guy that Hector killed was the boyfriend that was cheating on the guy in the office. And it was like setting up all these things. And then at the end, it's like, no, Audrey Plaza's the bad guy. She's the killer. Like, what? What the fuck was the point of any of this then? What was the point of Hector? Well, he had no reason to be in the movie. If you completely cut Hector and his subplot out of the movie, nothing would have changed. He had no reason to be in the movie. They set up the mystery. They set up a spider web, and then they just fucking tore it down. They just fucking tore it down like it was November 1st. They just didn't do it. They didn't, I think, as I said, it was right there. Chris Evans should have been the main bad guy, and yes, he should have been killed, but I think he should have been killed in like a more grandiose way. It was perfect for him to be the main bad guy. And no, Audrey Plaza is the bad guy for no reason. Just to shock the audience. Just to be like, oh my god, I can't believe it. The side character that had like 4 scenes is the bad guy. And that's the thing. I think this movie should have been longer. Right? And I think that's because, as I said, they did not go into depth with it. It felt like they were going to. They had a perfect setup. And they fumbled it. They fucking fumbled it. Like, I genuinely don't... I can't really argue with the people that think that this movie's story was a waste of time because it didn't go anywhere. Right? Like, the church, I mean, I guess Audrey Plaza was like a member of that church, I guess. She was like a crazy zealot, I think. But it's like, was she a part of that church? I don't remember. And even if she was, like, I don't know. I just think it kind of felt a little meandering. And at the end, it just kind of felt pointless. Because you established all these things just to throw them to the wayside. Right? I really liked the witty writing. I really liked the humor. I think that the vibes of this movie are great. But it's just not a good mystery. I think this could have been better as like a mini-series or something, where they could establish these things. Maybe they could establish Audrey Plaza as a bad guy more. Maybe they could hint at it better. Give any kind of indication that Audrey Plaza is a villain. Any at all. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. I just really wanted to like this movie, and I was, till the end. And would I recommend this movie? I mean, I want to, but I don't think I would. You know, it just kind of upsets me that I can't recommend this movie, but alas, I do not. I think there are better mystery films out there, and I think you could just find something better. And that being said, I think I'll rate this movie a 6 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I have so many to say. I think I have so many peace. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Share with friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on. Comment down below if you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't mean to say that. What I really meant to say is if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, continue to hate me in the comments. And I'm Margaret HD. Off to solve a mystery. You know, I just realized this, and I feel like people realized this when Knives Out came out. Chris Evans is a really good bad guy. Like, he's really good at playing this, like, douchey, evil bad guy. I like him as a villain, and I think he's a good actor. He can play good guys well, but he's just really entertaining when he plays a villain. I don't know. More villain Chris Evans, please. He's really entertaining as a bad guy. And shit, I fucked it up. Damn it. And oh shit. Shit, hang on. Should I do that again? You let me down, and that's the biggest thing.